Yep, it went. It's live. Hey, everybody.
Oh, you went on YouTube?
It
Yeah.
says you're streaming live now. Like I got a notification.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's funny. I didn't get that.
Because you're the one doing it. Also, when you press record, we get the notification.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Is
Yep,
my
it went.
am I okay?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, all right.
On YouTube? It says you're streaming live now. Like I got a notification.
Why is that happening?
There's a lag.
Get that?
Is somebody's phone is on or what?
No, it's her computer. She's watching it basically.
Hold on, I gotta mute it maybe.
Exactly.
Am I okay? Great, I gotta watch it. Hold on, sorry. Okay.
It's just
Yeah,
meeting
because
is
there's a
now.
delay.
Yeah, there is a delay.
Good? Everything good?
Perfect.
Everything great. Just press
perfect.
record, and we're live. So we'll just record.
We're live.
There you are. Okay,
Amazing.
everybody. Yay! Welcome back to
Hello.
Heal Yourself Naturally. We are getting the hang of all this technology. You know.
I don't think so.
No, we're not. But I'm so proud of you because even though I could be doing this, I probably wouldn't figure it out. So I'd have to watch a million YouTube tutorials. But yes, we are live on YouTube. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us live. Or if you were watching a recording, welcome back to Heal Yourself Naturally. My name is Nicole Dromey. I'm here with Sarah Woods Kender and Hava Levy, our lovely herbalists and healers. Today we are going back into our discussion about the head. We've done so many podcasts about this region of the body. We have broken things up differently now at Heal Yourself Naturally. We're really getting down to the nitty gritty parts of the body. And instead of just speaking about it in one podcast, we have broken it up to so many different little podcasts. So if you are looking at a specific, if you're looking for something specific that's regarding anything that has to do up from the neck up, you can see it on the titles of the podcast, and you can now look onto an hour-long discussion about certain things. And so we're proud of the way we're evolving here. We hope that you like the direction that we're bringing these podcasts in. Okay, so now last week we talked a lot about the ears. Mainly ear infections, ear ringing. We talked a lot about balance, about ear pressure, et cetera, et cetera. Today we are talking about the nose, sinuses, nose bleeds, nose irritation, runny nose, et cetera. So we're really focusing on this part of the head today. Let's get straight to it. Last week, we did mention that the ears are very much connected to our sinuses because of the way things drain in our head. And so we talked a lot about sinus like pressure points that can alleviate ear pain or ear pressure, et cetera, or help drainage. So today we're going to talk about sinus pressure, and try helping clear that up and whatnot. Sarah, Hava, let's go straight to you. You have someone that comes in that has intense sinus pressure. Now, sinus pressure can come from many different things. Name some of them and some ways to alleviate that.
Right. So, sinuses is buildup of a mucus. Mucus is a toxicity, right? So we need to find out why the person is having this gathering of this toxicity in that area. So usually, as always, we'll say, I would check how often the person moves his bowels. Yes, yes, yes. Again, because it's all connected, because if we gathering toxins, there is a place where the garbage is piling up, and that's why it spills to the other organs, and one of those might be a sinuses. So make sure that the person will move his bowels, and we speak about that all the time. The next, I would look if there is an allergy. Sometimes people have an allergy going on. There is a different kind of allergies, so we probably will dive more deep to see what kind of allergy it is. But again, it will come to the digestive issues, digestive problem, the gut flora. And then we obviously, then there is a issues with structural problems when there is a no like our structure is not built correctly, ears are not corrected, usually our neck does not have a correct posture, so there is a buildup of toxins in that area, because the way the body design is to, if there is a garbage, it will take somewhere from there, it will create mucus, which is a part of the body's making, gathering the garbage, and then it will throw to other organs from there, through the skin, through the poop, through the pee. And if those not happens, we need to find out why, right? So I would look into the structural problems, obviously, and then I would also look dehydration, because many times when people dehydrate, the body kind of gathers something. So I would look into that. Then I also would look if there is a ear issues, that if they are affected, because as I like to say, it's all combined together. So you can't just say, I have only problem here. For sure, there is a problem that either affect the eyes or either affect the ears. So it's all connected. You can just say it's only sinus. It's usually the upper pressure in the head. Then it obviously will come to circulation, to find out how the person sleeps, if he sleeps, if he's not, and emotional status. Like I think I kind of covered. I want to leave something.
No, you
for my
covered so
laptop.
much of it. You really did.
So,
And
so how we do it? I'm gonna suggest how I would treat it. The obviously, if it's a gut issue, we're opening the gut by using the herbs, then providing proper hydration, make sure the person is drinking enough liquids. Now, but clean liquids. Many people come, they drink cola, they drink Sprite, they drink all the like energy drinks. That's a big problem. That's extra toxicity in the body, right? So you want to get rid of. Then you want to see if there is any sort of stuff that are causing mucus. Now, yes, we say the milk products, some milk products can cause problems, but even I would like to raise this issue that many, even who are already into the healing business, think if they drink raw milk, then they are good. Well, I found that better to drink fermented drinks and not to drink raw milk. And many times I see influencers just jugging this raw milk. And in nature, we wouldn't do that, because raw milk is good for maybe an hour, and then it starts gathering bacteria. So kefir and stuff like that are always preferred if people are having those kind of stuff. So that's important. And then I would look to opening up the circulation. And my favorite part is always to working by doing clapping, stimulating the ears. Just yesterday I had the client, and we start clapping over the ears, and the sinuses will affect the hearing and affect the vision, right? And so we need to open those areas up. So I would suggest, like, join our live classes that where we top over and opening up. And many times people tell me they start suddenly feel heat coming in. Well, that's because circulation settles in. Next thing I would suggest to using steam. Steam is good to open up, and there's many herbs that I even prepared the video once how to open up the sinuses when there is a blockage here. So there is a herbs that you can put inside, and you sniff them up, and then we'll go and we'll open up the sinuses. So yeah, so those stuff.
right. But
I
those
think I got it.
herbs to open up, like you mentioned, they may release some of the pressure, but unless you address the problem correctly,
Right.
then it's just going to come back. So you mentioned some really great stuff, one of them being either a foodborne allergy, and or a sensitivity, right? Like mucus causing food, so like highly processed foods, sugars. Eggs are said to cause a lot of mucus in the body.
For
um,
some, for
for
some,
some,
yes.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
saying, so certain foods that are causing mucus must be eliminated. The gut flora must be um,
Restored.
restored. Bowels must be moving. Liquids must be drinked.
I actually, one more thing is dental issue, because
Right, but
rotten
no, we're
teeth
talking
can
about
cause
the
a
we're
sinus.
talking about that soon. We're talking about that
No,
soon.
but I'm
The
saying they are connected also. So I forgot to
right,
say that.
right.
So,
So again, we've mentioned so many times that the entire every part, even though you may have an infection in the ears, it's going to affect the sinuses. It's going to affect. It might, drip into your mouth, cause something in your throat, go to your stomach. It's all connected, right?
Mhm.
Your entire body is connected, obviously, but so yeah, major point is to get rid of the cause of, why, how come this problem has arisen. And then we have done a podcast about seasonal allergies. So if someone wants to look back, so if you are getting pressure because of seasonal allergies, you can always revisit our last podcast about allergies and see what herbs are good for that. But I think you got pretty much everything covered. Let's see if Sarah has anything to add.
always, Sarah.
Yeah,
Uh,
if you want to add specific herbs or any kind of maintenance that's required in order to help clearing or to maintain the so that pressure won't come back.
yeah. So, well, how about you're very thorough in that? I mean, all those things matter in regards to sinus health. And
Right.
again, the gut especially, the gut mirrors the sinuses. I can add one thing that I found: when people suffer from sinus issues, chronic sinus issues, they do have GERD. So they have the acid reflux.
Yep.
And a lot of problems occur because of acid reflux, whether it's obvious acid reflux or what they call silent reflux. And then people don't really realize that they have it. They just know something's off, a little bit, but usually they get that dry horse throat. And that acid coming up through the esophagus and into the sinuses can cause a lot of irritation. It can actually cause a lot of lung problems too that people don't realize. So I want to just mention that. Of course, the microbiome, microbiota, the gut flora, whatever you want to call it, is really important. And healing the gut, when you heal the gut, you heal the sinuses if it's a chronic situation. I can also suggest two other things. Well, probably three other things. I love marshmallow root for any kind of mucous membrane, and I found that using marshmallow root on a typical like a daily basis really helps soothe. It soothes everything that has mucus lining it. So you just, your urinary, your gut, your sinuses. So that's one herb that's very useful. And then I can recommend xylose, so, or xylitol. So these sugar alcohols create this symbiosis with proteins, and that's why we have the mucous membranes to begin with. The slimy surfaces in our bodies are glycoprotein matrices. So what we call a sugar alcohol and the protein, they go together, and that sugar component makes it slippery. So xylose is what lines the eyeballs, the sinuses, and then we got mannose that lines the urinary system. So, all these mucous membranes have a sugar, alcohol, and protein relationship. And so I've used, it's called Xyclear, or I use like a xylose containing spray. I've used that before on myself, and I suggest it to other people. It really does. And now it's a Band-Aid, okay, to a degree. But a lot of times, just like in the gut, when your mucous membranes have become inflamed, infuriated is a word.
Yeah.
When they become inflamed, you get the irritation. Just like in the gut, we restore the mucous membrane, and that's also, trying to get to the root of the problem, which is, food allergies and things. But it's the same with the sinuses. So if you use the Xyclear or a xylose containing spray, you can start to restore that mucous membrane, and it's amazing, actually. Definitely don't use the over-the-counter sprays. They can cause a lot of problems. They can cause dryness and issues. So I don't recommend the typical ones, but this is more of like a health food store situation. So you can find it. And there's one brand called Xyclear. I'm certainly not promoting any brands, but that's just one that that I'm aware of. I'm sure there's others on the market. And then I also have recommended the neti pot or the saline washes for chronic sinus issues. And again, just like with sinus steams or any herbal treatment, we're actually just treating the symptoms. So we definitely want to get to the root, which, you know, Hava went through all the different reasons why people can have sinus issues. And, you know, we ask a series of questions, but the first and foremost thing that comes to me into mind, in my opinion, is gut health and
Right.
food allergies. I really think that's a lot of people's problems. You know, the people that get a cold, it either goes to their sinuses or their lungs, right? And if it goes to your sinuses a lot, well, you've got a weakness there, and it could be food, it's certainly gut.
Right. And, you know, to our viewers who have been listening on for quite some time, please, you know, pay attention that most of our problems are coming from our gut. And so we talk a lot about a reason behind these issues stemming from our gut, or that we can help cure and alleviate and eliminate by restoring proper gut health. And so I really want to, you know, hammer the nail on that, and for people to really understand that our stomach and our gut is probably one of the most important things that we must take care of in our body. Otherwise, we'll see a lot more problems in regards to our health, whether it be instant or over the years, that will accumulate, and then your body will start to suffer. Okay. Oh, speaking of Hava,
Yes, love.
I want you to tell last podcast. I promised the viewers before everything went haywire on us that you would tell us our lovely stomach story, our gut story. Or you
Oh my
told us.
gosh, hopefully I remember. Maybe you should say it. You
Oh
have a
God.
much, you speak much fluently in English. I mean, probably some.
Okay, well, I'll probably botch it up, but it was
Okay,
around the
botch
time
it
I
up.
met
It's better
Hava,
than
like
I
7 years
botch it up, and
ago,
then
and it was one of my first courses that I took with her. And she likes to tell a story, or whether it be a true story or like a proverb or whatever, just like, you know, just a story to try to like first get real people in, to get them interested in whatever subject we're talking on. So we were taking a gut class, like a stomach gut health class. And she told this beautiful story that just like completely resonated with me and just opened my eyes into like natural healing in the body, period. And it's a story I actually tell my children, because it's very important to teach children at a young age. Don't hold like your poop when you're out in public or at school. And it's okay to talk about your pooping routine or whatever with your family. Don't be ashamed of it, because a lot of kids are ashamed of going to the bathroom or needing to. It's something that happens to them around the time they go to school because they're uncomfortable going in school grounds or whatever the case might be. So I actually tell this to my kids too, and they love this story. So um, basically, it's a story about how all of the organs in the body fought over who was like the leader, right? The heart said, I'm the leader because I'm responsible for pumping all the blood around the body. And if I were to stop, then we would, you know, then we wouldn't survive. And the brain said, no, but it's me, because if I were to stop, then we wouldn't be able to function properly. And then the liver said, no, it's actually me, because I'm in charge of filtering things. And the kidney said, but I'm in charge of filtering things. And the legs, you know, said, or the hand said, but it's me, because I'm in charge of getting us the things that we need, and so on and so forth. And the gut was like, no, but it's me, I'm really doing the most important job. And everybody just laughed, like, what are you in charge of? You're just in charge of, you know, storing and clearing out poop, right? And so that kind of offended the gut, and the gut said, you know what, I'm gonna stop working. I'm just not gonna do my job. To himself, he said this, and
the eyes got wobbly.
a week went by, and you know, the eyes started, the vision wasn't so clear, and the mind started getting foggy and getting headaches, and the liver slowly wasn't functioning properly, and the liver, and so on and so forth. The whole body started feeling changes, and they were like, what's going on? Why are we feeling like this? And lo and behold, they all came to the gut and were like, wow, you're right. You really are the leader here. Because if it weren't for you stopping to work, then we would all be feeling great. And so that is the moral of the story, is that once his gut stops working properly, then the entire body suffers. Every single one of our organs, every single part of our body starts to suffer because the gut stops working properly.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that is a beautiful story to tell your children or to other people that, don't want to believe that what we eat, what we do with our bodies, mainly what we feed ourselves, and if our stomach is not working properly, then the entire body will suffer. It's something that we keep saying on this podcast, and every single series that we've run, every single episode that we've had, we always talk about the stomach. So I really want to really, really make a point here so that people understand that the stomach is a very, very vital organ. It's like the most important one. And so we have to treat it properly. We have to make sure we're going to the bathroom, feed it the right things, et cetera, et cetera.
And that
So
seems to be the one most neglected organ system is the gut.
it
because
is.
You just
It
start
really
shoving
is.
stuff like, oh, good food, yummy sugar.
And we're not
Yummy.
even hungry, okay? Like
Why do
we've
I
all
feel
been
like
there.
crap?
Yeah, I
20
feel like
minutes
crap,
ago.
but I'm still gonna eat because I'm at a restaurant and I'm out or whatever it is. I think it's very important to, practice restraint and eat properly. And we've talked a lot about, whether it be, if you're in a household that you can't afford proper meals, then it's always better to start with just one meal a week that you can eat properly and then build up, hopefully. A lot of people don't realize that also eating fast foods or eating processed foods costs a lot more than just making it on your own
Yeah,
at the end of the
I
day.
feel like that whole idea of eating well costs more.
It's such,
It's not really true
it's
because
not
you
true
can
at all.
get a bag of oranges for, $5 and you can get, it might not fill you up as much, but you can add, if I go in and just buy a bunch of vegetables and a few little pieces of meat here and there, my bill is very, very small. But if I start buying all the processed stuff and all the stuff in
So
jars,
expensive.
you start, it's amazing how much money you spend if you start doing that. So I think
Right.
people just have to realize that simple is better. And I know a lot of people buy already made stuff because they don't have time. But if you really put your mind to it, you can make dinner in 45 minutes when you get home. It really doesn't,
Probably even
even
less.
less if you, depends on
If there's meat, if the meat's defrosted and you have like a plan,
yeah,
and at the end of the day, the more you do it, the more efficient you become in the kitchen.
right.
And I, lo and behold, learned all of my, not all of my cooking skills. I come from a family of chefs. Like my great grandmother was a chef. My grandmother was a chef. A lot of my mom's family is in the restaurant business. Every person in my family knows how to cook. Even my youngest brother, who's like amazing in the kitchen. The point is that we all grew up watching the Food Network, like
Yeah,
nonstop.
I love
And
that.
so
Yeah,
I
me
can
too.
cook every genre of food. It just, it's incredible that what you learn from seeing, and then you get better by practicing. It's
Right.
really, you can do it. You can absolutely do it for yourself. You can meal prep. You can learn.
Yeah.
You might not get it right the first 10 times, but you'll get it right eventually. Anyways,
And
I also want to go into more about the nose and that area. So we didn't talk about, we talked about clearing the sinuses, sinus pressure, but not about sinus infection. So I want to talk about sinus infections. It can be extremely painful, cause headaches. It can drip down into your throat as well, cause an infection in the throat, or drip down lower, get into the lungs. But when it's gathered here, you have a chance of stopping it from happening and going and getting worse. So let's talk about, Sarah, some herbs that can help treat sinus infections. Some things people can do. We talked about alleviating the sinus pressure. So whatever we've mentioned can help in alleviating that. But let's talk more about on the herbal side of things. for clearing a sinus infection.
And I just want to mention too, energetically, if you have chronic sinus issues, we oftentimes associate it with irritation. So what are you irritated about? Is someone around you, you're irritated. But also the heart on the face and Chinese medicine. I'm not sure what they say about the internal sinuses, but the heart and the sinuses are connected. So when you look at somebody and they have like a purple nose, they probably have some heart strain as well.
Oh.
And they might be a heavy drinker too. So
Yeah.
But anyway, I just thought I'd mention that.
No, but I really like on the Reiki aspect because I'm thinking back into my past when I've had severe sinus infections and I had extreme irritation in my life by a
Yeah.
certain someone.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. It's usually someone close to us.
Yeah. Wow. I'm
Yeah.
like, I get it. I
Weird,
get
right?
it.
Yeah.
And I haven't had a sinus infection since they've like stepped away. So
Excellent.
it's like,
That's super. Yeah.
yeah, it's great.
Okay,
I
so
love
back to
hearing
sinus
Reiki.
infections.
Yes.
So all those things I had mentioned before, the neti pots, the or the saline washes, the Xyclear, that stuff at the Xylose, that's nice. I always just caution if you're gonna do a neti, make sure your sinuses are clear. You don't want stuffed up sinuses and try to shove water up there because that could be a disaster.
And
But
cause so much more pressure and pain.
so much more pressure and pain. So make sure everybody's clear before you do that.
And people usually do that to clear up, which is not right.
No, that's right. People do that to clear
To
out,
clear out to flush,
which is
but that's not
fine.
what it's.
Right. But as long as you can still breathe through your sinuses, it's fine. If you can't, then that's a problem. It's not going to really go anywhere and it could cause more problems. So, I actually deal with sinus problems a lot in the shop, and especially during the cold season, as I call it, cold and flu season. And so, well, first we're asking too, what's your environment like in your house? Because if it's super dry, it can make you very susceptible to infection. And it's usually occurring after a cold. So it's usually like a secondary infection from a cold. So right away, I want to support their immune system. And I usually use things like medicinal mushrooms, elderberry, echinacea. Those are, astragalus. Those are my go-tos for immune boosting. But herbs specifically, I'll just name a few because I'm sure Hava has many that she wants to name as well. But I make it's called a sinus saver, and it's an extract, so it's an alcohol tincture. And there's one herb in particular, I have several herbs in there. One is called osha root. And osha root is also called bear root. It's Linguisticum porteri. Say that 10 times fast. It's basically a high altitude plant, and we harvest the root. Now it's an endangered plant, so I really caution people using plants that are endangered. So if you can get a cultivated kind, that would be fine too. People do cultivate osha root. And osha is not only specific for sinuses, but for lungs too. And it just opens up the airways, whether it's lungs or sinuses, and it's antimicrobial. So we're opening and we're killing at the same time. And I really love osha for that. Again, I'm using marshmallow to soothe. And I also like, there's so many, but I'll just name.
But you make a tincture specifically for this.
I make a tincture specifically for sinus infections.
Is this something that someone can buy on your site?
Correct.
Okay, so sarahsherbs.com.
Actually, it's not on my site. Yeah, sorry. Just email me. Sorry. It's not, I don't have everything on my site just because that's.
Right. Okay, so it's something that you formulate and make that our viewers can definitely purchase through you. I just, I like to give a shout out sometimes to our wonderful healers because, they make incredible herbal concoctions, and this being one of them in the cold and flu season is a lifesaver if you're someone who suffers from sinus infections.
Totally. And we've done the work too. It's not, I mean, we want to empower you
Right,
with knowledge, but we also want to help you with the tools if we can.
right.
So it's a sinus saver. It has the OSHA root in it. And I also would probably do marshmallow in a tea. But then I also love elderflower. So
Yeah.
elderflower is an excellent sinus. It soothes the sinuses and it's slightly antimicrobial. And then I also use licorice root. So, and there's a few others that we could suggest. I know there's a few that I already know what one she's gonna say.
Yeah. Me too. She'll probably tell you to snort it too.
Right.
No, I'm just
So,
kidding. Well, I
so
don't
I
know
use,
actually. I'm intrigued to hear what she's gonna say. If we're
You
gonna
know
ask people to
already.
snort some cayenne.
but I use that in tincture form. I usually dose about a teaspoon a day. For most people.
Combined with
And
water, right? People should be
you
taking
always
their
dilute it with,
tinctures.
yeah, you always dilute it with water because tinctures, people always ask me, but Sarah, how does it taste? I'm like, sometimes the medicine just doesn't taste good because some herbs are just gross. And I don't make a
Yeah.
lot of glycerites, honestly, and I think it's great that people do, but I just use alcohol and I mean the glycerites are nice. So it's usually people add a little glycerin to their tinctures so they're sweeter.
Right.
It's not a powerful of an extraction.
Yeah, but and if you're also suffering from an infection, you should be drinking more liquid. So it's okay to drink tinctures. Like
I think
I
so.
prefer them because it also, if I am drinking tinctures for a reason, then I'm like, okay, I'm obviously probably dehydrated too. That's why I'm getting this problem to begin
Yeah.
with. So it's forcing me to drink water in a
Right. And
sense,
and sometimes people don't want to do the alcohol, and we can totally do this with tea.
Yeah, or encapsulated,
Or
right?
encapsulated, and I've done that for people too. And one other herb that I use that is very, very good, and especially in combination, is honeysuckle flower.
Mm.
And so it's honeysuckle, osha, and licorice and elderflower. And when you take it daily for about 7 to 10 days, you don't have to go on antibiotics. Again, you don't have to go on antibiotics for sinus infection. You can use the herbs. They're really, really powerful. Tea, tincture, encapsulations all work really well.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
so I'll leave it at that.
Okay, Hava, let's see what you
I
have
was
to
just
add.
trying to find my recipe here to share with the people the sniff formula that I prepared on my Instagram, but I don't see where exactly it is. But
So
Okay,
it's
so
like a
anybody
snuff?
who's really interested, you can
I have
always.
the sniff formula, and there is a little bit. I think I use the Burberry, then I use Golden Seal, a little bit garlic and cayenne. If I'm not
I told you
mistaken,
she's gonna make you sniff the cayenne, guys.
and
Every
then you
time.
sniff, and then
Yeah.
you sniff it up, and then it will go up and will all help to open
I
the
bet
air.
that
It is a
opens
little
them.
bit spicy. Another thing that I while we've been talking, I was actually looking at the chart of meridians on the face, and all the charts are actually connected to the gut flora. This is like so funny because large intestine, and you see it's like all about, it's just all connected to the intestines. This is like the bladder, intestine, stomach, large intestine, stomach,
Yeah.
large
Yeah.
so it's like so incredible because like it so much makes sense. And so now, so that formula is wonderful to sniff it up. Another thing that I would suggest is I have this infection formula, and I've used it for dental infection, for cellulitis, for any sort of infections in the body, and this is my way to go. And there's a combination of plantain and few other herbs, and it's echinacea, and it's really really good formula, and I've seen an incredible results with this formula. And then what I usually suggest when people have severe infection is to use my cayenne salve, and you can rub the cayenne and add decongestant salve, both salves, and then just massage it, because when we speak about something taken internally, we dependent on our God to process it, to, to send it to the area. But if our God is stagnant, if we are sick, if we everything is crumbled, right? So everything is like this, stiff. So what we need to do is open up, meaning yes, good, you take internal herbs to fight the infection and help yourself, but also I like to work externally, and usually I suggest to work internally and externally in combinations together, and that what creates this magic healing. So it's very important that people will learn, do not just hop a medicine and wait for the miracle to happen. It's not going to happen if there is a stagnation. So working again on these areas by applying cayenne salt and really, really pushing it down like to the ears and down to the neck, working on your lymph nodes. Usually if there is infection, the lymph nodes are also probably are full of toxins. So drain those sinuses,
Right.
guide them so that way they will be able to drain. Otherwise, there is a buildup. I always say, if you need to understand, it's like the building up, the building up here, it's all mucus and then it sits. And if you allow that to prolong, then you're gonna get a severe infection. And obviously your eyes, and right away you'll see also the vision, you'll see like yellow pus coming. It happens also with the children a lot, right? Many children, they have a runny nose and then suddenly they have a pussy eyes. Well, what is that? That's the same thing. That's a blockage in the sinuses when pressure up into the eyes, and then it will start even coming from the ears. So again, it's all combined together. So don't be afraid to use your hands. And many people will say, oh yeah, it's so painful. Pain is the way of guiding you. Without the pain, if the God would not give us this feeling, then we would be in a lot of more troubles. Because in reality, pain is our friend. This is the way the body will tell you, do more. In most cases we feel pain and we'll like become frozen. I'm not gonna touch. No, you need to do an opposite. You need to clap. You need to, create till you feel it's heating up, and then you use this decongesting herbs and everything what Sarah mentioned, whatever I mentioned, and then guess what will happen? Internally you work, and now you work externally through the skin, and there is a huge, amazing healing comes. Like, see, this is
Right.
how I want
And
people
much
to
faster results as well. So you could be taking a medication, but like you said, it takes a while for the body to process it, especially if you are currently sick, or so your body is just feeling like too attacked at the moment, so it's going to be slower to process. Or if your stomach is not functioning properly, it'll take longer for the medication to travel to the area in which the body needs the more help. The
And one
more
more
you
thing.
encourage healing by
Okay.
touch, the faster you will heal.
Amazing. And one more thing I will add, and if there is a stubborn infection, then I would suggest do garlic poultices over the feet, because the feet are connected. All the nerves, they begin in the feet. There are roots. And if our roots are damaged, then obviously you'll have, so why not to now address internally, externally, and also work over your roots, which is your feet, and you can do poultices over your feet, garlic poultice, and the garlic will travel up and will help you to fight. So you have a full combination here. Oh my gosh,
Absolutely.
I wish millions will listen what we're saying
I've
here.
cured
Like
my children and myself with all that you've mentioned, and I can attest it personally, especially with children. I did do garlic poultices improperly once and pressed it instead of chopped it, and so I did give my
it's okay.
baby a burn a little bit. But I also switched to Mullein garlic oil at a certain point, that is commonly used for ear infections. And I rubbed that over the feet in the glands all throughout this whole area, and infections cleared within a couple of days. as well as putting things internally. I didn't just work externally. But yes, the point is that you can definitely help speed up the process by doing more than one thing. So not just relying on taking something internally. Um, Also a tool that's great, or I want to mention that when you do have a sinus infection, if you are going to take the opportunity to really work on it with your hands or with a guaja, which is like a wand that you can use to really get into certain places, um, you will feel like a pocket, a bubble, something that's completely stuck there, that's like inside, and you'll feel it. So right now, if you're not having any issues, you're not going to feel anything. But when you have a sinus infection, you'll feel it, piling up in a pocket.
Yeah,
That you
or
got to work.
there
Yeah,
is areas.
there's
It's building
areas.
up.
Yeah, yeah. So, but typically this area right here is where most of your sinuses are connected. So if you are working it, you'll feel that main pocket where all the infection is just sitting right there. Work it. It's going to be so painful, but so worth it. And you will be tender afterwards, but you'll see the next day, less tender, less of a pocket. Like it'll decrease in size. The more you work on it, the faster you will heal.
It'd be a great
Um,
idea too. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just thought a great idea to do like a sinus massage. Like you mentioned the mullein garlic oil, but what a great idea to do like a sinus massage like oil
right.
with people. Like people can make it on their own. They can do the garlic, infused garlic and mullein flowers or whatever, and do a stovetop infusion and then start just massaging that way too. Okay,
Right.
sorry.
And so I
Ideas.
have I have done that when I didn't have garlic oil. And I didn't even
Yeah.
have mullein on hand, but I did have garlic, and I had I had
You
very
could add
good like
cayenne to
farm
that.
fresh organic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I made my own infusion, a stovetop infusion. I just put it in a double broiler, and I used that, and it was perfectly
That's
sufficient for
awesome.
what I needed, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't have it on hand, you can't run out and get it. You can make it on your own. Most of the things we talk about also, we give you things that you most likely have on hand at home. Um, but the point is that if you do want to support our healers and herbalists here, you can definitely visit their websites or social media accounts. Hava mentioned a few of her products right now, and you can visit her website, havawellness.com, HAVA wellness.com, and you can purchase these items. And, you know, I like to prep ahead of time before the cold and flu season. So if I'm running out of something, even if nobody's sick at home, it's always just good to have, right? These things don't, they don't go bad quickly. They're always great to have. I love giving them out to people too. Because people will call and say, like, I have this and that. I'm like, come grab this. Like, I have something for you. And so, even if it's things that you're making at home, like I made extra garlic oil, then, pass it on to someone. I think it's really, really important to, once you are, given this knowledge, to pass it on to people. So try it on yourself, try it on your loved ones, and then pass it on. It's like something we really want. We want to encourage the movement of healing yourself naturally. That's the whole, point of this podcast. So, we talked about sinus infections, sinus pressure. I want to talk about nosebleeds. A lot of people can get nosebleeds either from drastic change of weather, right? That's like a reason people get. Okay, how about you? I want you guys to tell me. I don't want to name them off. I want to hear from you. The major reasons people come to you with nosebleeds. What do you suggest? Like, why is it happening? Sarah.
Well, are they nose pickers?
Right.
That would be
Okay.
my first question.
Are you digging for gold up
You
there?
can't be too far up there, people.
Yeah.
All right. Besides that, it dry air.
Right.
Dry air. What's your home environment like? Where do you live? I moved to Colorado when I was young and crazy, and I had nosebleeds all the time because it was so dry. So get a humidifier into your life, figure out that situation. So that's a big trigger. And then I'm back to food allergies, actually. I really am. And, because well, food allergies cause irritation cause dry mucus, mucus causes people to start picking, but it's also can really do a lot of damage to those sensitive
lining,
tissues.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then what was the other one? Food allergies, and I just had the other one and now it's gone. It's somewhere else. But I'm asking those questions like, oh yeah, constitutions. Like when some people run hot and dry, some people run cold and dry, some people run, see what their constitution is like. In Ayurvedic, there's the dosha system, and then Western herbalism has a couple of systems. One in particular was William Lasassier's constitutional, profiling of people. So you can kind of do your own profiling. And if they run dry, then we'd be wanting to moisten their body, be asking about kidneys. This is where marshmallow root comes in really well. So I'm asking about constitution, asking questions like that. And then looking at their diet and looking at any kind of allergies, like allergy season comes in, people start to get nosebleeds. So,
right.
So do you have seasonal allergies? So all those things matter. And again, I'm back to marshmallow root and Xyclear, really trying to restore that mucosal lining, because when that gets worn away, that's when we see the bleeds.
Right. So if I'm having a nosebleed, what's the best way to stop it?
Well, yarrow tea would be nice, besides shoving a tissue up there.
Right.
Yeah. Shove a tissue up there, which is the typical way people do it.
And a lot of people say to look up. I mean, I've heard it's actually the opposite and look down.
Well, they also say if it's like my brother used to throw my brother under the bus. You don't know which one though, so that's good.
Well, we know a lot about your mom. We've thrown her there a lot.
My poor mom. I wonder if she watches the podcast.
I've thrown my sister under the bus a couple times.
My brother used to get him really bad, and he might have been a picker. I don't really know. He could get there, but he used to get him really, really bad, and they would always instruct him, they meaning the doctors, not to blow out the clot, right? Which I think is probably a good rule of thumb, because the clot stops the nosebleed. So I bring that up because sometimes people just get nosebleeds and it's not that bad and it goes away. But if you get them bad and you're just gushing blood.
Yeah.
You put your head back, and I believe ice on the back of your head, and then don't blow out the clot, because then you start bleeding again. So, but okay. I would be doing yarrow tea. That's what I would do. If this is a recurrent.
And what is yarrow tea doing?
Yeah, so yarrow is a plant that grows around here in New Hampshire. It must grow in California.
Yeah, it does.
It does, yeah.
And it is a nice, it's a styptic, what we call a styptic. So it stops bleeding. It's great topically or internally. So if anybody has any bleeding going on, that's too much, depending on, what, it doesn't really matter where it is. I put some yarrow, and I do it. You could do a tea or a tincture, but a tea would be fine. So a nose bleeder, I'd be addressing possible seasonal allergies, food allergies. I'd be making a tea with nettle and yarrow and marshmallow.
Yummy.
What was that?
It's yummy.
Yummy. Put some rose hips in there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Woohoo. So
yeah, I can't stomach marshmallow root on its own. Like, I don't know why anymore. Like, I used to drink it a lot, and now I just
it's very starchy.
God, yeah.
The farmer's market, there was one guy, he tried to do marshmallow candies, and I just put the marshmallow tea for sale there, and he walked by. He said, "Oh my gosh, I'm afraid of marshmallows." I'm like, "Why? What did you try?" He said, "I was making a marshmallow candy and my stomach blew up." I'm like, "Did you make the correct way, or did you drink enough? Because it's not a candy, it's a medicine by the
Right.
end, you know." And people think, "Oh, it's a marshmallow candy. Let's eat now a whole dozen of those cubes," and then you end up like with a gas and bloated stomach, like what this marshmallow is doing to me. Well, it's cleaning you out, but it's also starchy.
Yeah, and it's
Right.
probably
desert.
feeding, well, it's feeding your microbiome, right? It's feeding all those good
Yeah.
bugs, and then they off gas, and then
And then they're having a party. They're
they're
like,
having a party down there.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's
What
so
are your
funny.
some of your suggestions, Hava, for
I love it.
nosebleeds? Do you have any more reasoning behind why people would be getting them, and
I mean,
or
yeah, what I think what Sarah mentioned is absolutely correct. It's
yeah?
allergies and picking in the nose and many things. Oh, high blood pressure. That's another thing. Sometimes high blood pressure can come up, and that will cause a bleeding nose. So, and it's also, see, it's again, learn about yourself, figure out why it's happening, and then the fastest way that I treat it is by okay, cayenne.
Are we sniffing it?
Actually, a few drops on the tongue, you count till 10 and the bleeding will stop. And I had actually a severe case of I call her my mom, okay? She's like my mom, and her son would get all the time a severe, like tissues, obviously a little bit overweight, and many other things. But the issue is that they would get nosebleeds all the time, and he's the guy that you would suggest herbs, and he was like, "I'm far away from it." But for some reason, cayenne did catch with him, and he would have a cayenne tincture in his pocket, and he learned to treat his nosebleeds by using cayenne. And I also treated a couple times in the school when I was a teacher in a preschool, and the children run and they bump, or there was a children who just suddenly would get like nosebleed, like I've never. It's obviously allergies and intestinal issues, whatever, but like it was crazy because I've never seen such a young kids and then suddenly so much gushing blood. And so usually they would call right away emergency. I'm like, emergency, I have a cayenne in my pocket. And then like I took the child to the side, and I know that's not good, you're not doing this correct, like I don't care, let's first save the person. So I gave this child a few drops of the cayenne. You should see his eyes, like, oh, because he's a baby, he was like, what, 4 years old, whatever. But guess what? In a couple minutes, the bleeding stopped. And I usually say, let's count till 10, and we're going to hold the nose, and done. So cayenne is my way to go. But yes, obviously dive in why there is a problem. Yes.
I love that. I love that story too. I'm sure the child came home and was like, "My teacher gave me spicy when my nose was bleeding."
Well,
They
his
were-
dad was working in the school. So I'm like, okay, I don't really care as long as I save someone's life. I mean, people, we become such a nation of, we are afraid of every single thing. And I've seen somebody bruise his head and they would just call right away 911. I'm like, why do calling 911 for the bruised head? If you have a little bit squeezed your finger, then call 911. If you like everything simple things that then I said, okay, no more. I went, I bought arnica, I bought all these herbs to have on hand, some calendula, some ice, like basics. No, what they have a Motrin, they have all the Tylenol, but they don't have the basics. And I don't know if they still keeping up with that, but I did create that like a small kitchen, small emergency herbal cabinet for them. But it's just that we shouldn't be afraid unless obviously it's emergency. Again, use common sense, right? But
well, the problem is people are afraid because they get sued for helping people.
I was just about to say it's liability
Yeah.
for them, but so
It's
they rather
litigious.
send off in an ambulance with a doctor for no
I
not
know.
reason, but for not for emergency use, right? So We
know.
guys, we are not against doctors.
No, we love doctors.
I know. I just want to
It's,
mention that we want you to know that most things you can treat yourself and heal yourself naturally. Now, you may need some kind of surgery in your life, or you're God forbid in a terrible car accident and you have to go to the hospital. Right? Doctors are great for what? For emergency cases. You know, or if you're getting panels of things so that you can see more clearly what's happening inside your body. But they will typically, not they will typically, they will prescribe you medication that won't take care of the issue. So the issue will stay there, but the symptoms will be reduced, but then you'll get a slew of other symptoms because of the medication you're taking. So it's like a vicious cycle that the doctors keep us really, instead of making us healthy, they're keeping us sick or getting us more sick from a lot of these pharmaceuticals. So we want to give you these tools in order to heal things naturally so that you don't get, into more trouble down the line. That's our goal here, is to educate, and then for you to pass on even little things. Like if you just liked a bit of our podcast and it really spoke to you, then yeah, pass that on to your friends and family, and share this information. And if you never watch any other one of our episodes and you just watch that one that really spoke to you, and you pass that little bit of information on, and they pass it on, and they pass it on, the next person, so that's what we're doing. We're trying to reach people little by little and grow a community of independent people that know that they can heal themselves naturally, even if it's just healing that one thing. That's a huge impact. It's like a huge ripple effect, and we really want to see that happen. I really wanted to go into dental health, but again, as you can see, people, we only spoke about the nose and sinuses, and we were able to cover um, you know, so much of it in an hour. And this is why we're breaking it up. Like we could have just talked about the head and giving you some herbs and some things that you could help, but then we wouldn't really be getting down to it. Um, I really wanted to talk about dental health today, but we won't have time. So next, on our next episode, we will be talking about dental and gum health, what you can do to prevent
okay.
some cavities, illnesses, infections, et cetera, receding gum lines, all that fun stuff. Proper mouth health is extremely, extremely important, almost just as important as well as your gut health, because it is all connected, and it's connected to very major parts of your body, like the heart, the brain, etc. So we want to emphasize, like people hate the dentist. It's like one of my favorite. It's like it's actually probably my only like doctor that I like. I'm obsessed
You
with.
like the dentist?
Love the dentist, even as a young child, like getting a cleaning, getting that feeling of like your teeth being extremely clean, and like
Oh, well, that's great. It's the process that I don't like.
I love the process. I love it. I love everything about it. I
I
don't
have
know.
dental trauma. I doubt I have dental trauma.
I've
I
always
I
loved
had
it.
horrible teeth as a child because we clearly weren't taught oral hygiene very well, and so that has just set me up. And now they
Oh,
use
I
the
had terrible hygiene, like as a child. Like I had so many cavities. It was insane what
Oh,
I went through as a child. But the point is that I always loved treating it.
yeah.
Like I love taking care of it, because your body feels so much better once your mouth is taken care of. I don't know how to explain. Like,
I agree. I love nice clean teeth. And we love dentists. We just have to say that. We love dentists. They do a
I
good
love the
job.
dentist. I love the dentist.
Even
My
though they only
dentist
work
always loved me too, because they
short.
we're like, yay, a patient that doesn't hate us. Even as a young
Right.
child, like I loved the whole experience.
Hey,
Um,
listen, I tell you what, I grew up in Russia. By us, there was no nice dentist. You get on a chair and they go with the
I
metal
don't think they
without
were
any
nice. I just liked
anesthesia,
the process.
without any all those stuff. Come on,
With just a little bit of clove, huh?
forever.
We'll
I'm
talk about
done.
natural ways to reduce pain too.
You
like
can
clove.
roll me dead into the dentist, like meaning like put some medicine in, let me sleep, do whatever you need, and then roll me out. I'll figure out the rest. Don't
As
let
long
me
as you
even-
don't know you're going,
I don't
huh?
want to see the dentist. I don't want to see the hands, the needle, nothing. I want to
Oh my
sleep.
God, I would beg my mom to take me to the dentist
Oh
sometimes.
yeah.
I
Oh
was
my
so
God.
weird. And like I actually like want to make my kids like that too. Like I want it to be a fun experience. I want them to take care of their teeth. You
Yeah,
know,
and I
some
think
kids
that's
like,
good to instill that. But then
yeah,
now they use those, I don't know, those ionic freaking scrapers that
yeah,
kill
Oh,
my gums. I'm like,
yeah,
what
I
is
know what you're talking
happening
about.
here? Okay.
I know what you're talking
Anyway.
about. But there's
okay.
also holistic dentistry, which we'll talk about as well.
Cool.
Which
Yep.
I think everybody
Yeah.
should look into holistic dentists in their area before our next podcast, so you know what we're talking about. But anyways, thank you all for joining us on Heal Yourself Naturally. We'll be back next time talking about our mouths, and we'll
Yes.
see you all. Thank you.
All the best. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.